here with Darren Timms, golf coach. So Darren has just come back from a good trip to Florida.
Great trip, really good fun.
Amazing, good stuff. So what we have been doing with Darren is working on his general ability and generally how his body feels. So Darren, you were diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis when?
Yeah, that's correct. About 2016, 2017.
2016, 2017. So Darren's doing a really good job at the moment of managing his symptoms. So we've gone through a lot of hands-on treatment, and as well as that, a lot of prehab and rehab for Darren to lose some of his body. He's feeling a lot better as a result. But what's really common with ankylosing spondylitis is inflammation of the enthesis. So the enthesis will be the big tendons going into the heels. And Darren, you explained that your calves have been feeling a bit tight recently. You feel that's carrying over into the knee?
Exactly that, yeah. So especially when I've played, when I've been competitive or been practicing, I find that I get sort of sharp pain through the knee if I'm not careful, if my calves get really tight, especially when you're on a hilly golf course. It's been really bad. So yeah, that's been my current problem at the moment.
So what we really want to do is contextualise everything with what is most precious to Darren, what's most important to Darren, which is the golf, I take it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alright, perfect. So we're going to have a quick look at the golf swing, and if you can just demonstrate the mechanics of the golf swing, I'm just going to have a look at how that affects the knee.
So when I'm swinging here, I try to have my left foot turned out. Obviously I rotate to my right hand side, but then I load back into my left hand side, and you do get a little bit of ankle roll. Depending on what surface I'm on, I'll have to vary that and how that loads it through that position. But that is normally my lower body.
So if you can just do that for me again. So when Darren's going through a golf swing, his knees are flexed. So because his knees are flexed, it means that he's relying on more muscular rather than ligamentous support. And we can see here, we've got a nice amount of valgus load going through the knee, which is fine, but it starts to put strain on the medial knee, so ligaments and muscles within that area. And then as Darren follows through, we get more of a varus strain. We get more strain throughout the lateral structures of the knee, but as well as that, we get a twisting motion which can start to affect the meniscus. Nothing bad, but we're just trying to put it into context. So now what we can do is have a bit of a deeper look with some orthopedic tests at Darren's knee and see if anything becomes obvious. So if you'd like to lay on your back with me, Darren. So as I'm going through these tests, if you just let me know if anything's particularly tender.
Sure.
So the first thing that we'll do is we'll have a little bit of a feel around the knee and see if any of the quadriceps tendons, if the ligaments around the kneecap, or even the knee itself are uncomfortable. And we do the same thing to the back as well. And I think that feels alright.
Not too bad, Joe. More on the left hand side, I felt it. So on the top, yeah. Just
more tension around
this side, yeah.
So now what we want to do is start to stress some ligaments and see if anything comes up. So if we go into full flexion and then full extension, we're checking the general integrity of the knee joints. How does that feel?
You'll find that.
So what we can do now is start to flex and rotate, start to bias straight to the meniscus. How does that feel?
Okay, a little bit more, but not too bad.
So we think maybe lateral meniscus, and then if we then rotate under and in, how does that feel?
No pain.
And the pain, was that on the outside?
Yeah, just more on the outside, yeah.
So potentially lateral meniscus. From here, I'm just going to, if you relax your leg for me now. So from here, I'm just going to push in. How does that feel?
Okay.
And then I can bias that to the ACL by rotating Darren's foot in and pushing out again.
No pain.
And then for the outside of the knee, I can gap. And how does that feel?
That feels okay.
Perfect. So,
yeah, just a little bit tender, but not bad.
So we can even check with the awareness, with the kind of language that Darren's using, and that nothing's too painful, but he's slightly aware of more the lateral structures within the knee. From here, we can go through some active resistor tests as well. So if you just push up against the wall for me, please, Darren. Feel all right?
Yeah, feels fine.
And then pull towards you. Feel all good?
Yeah, a little bit again there. It feels a bit weaker.
Right, feels stronger.
Yeah.
And that might be coming from the hamstrings, which actually support the lateral structures of the knee. So now what we're going to do is go through a breakdown of movements that Darren can practice to start to get this area working, get it feeling good again. So you'd like to stand up and do this, Darren? So what I want you to do is we're going to stand on the left leg, and then from this position, I just want to see if you can place your hands to here, sit into that left hip, and then just push the left knee and the left foot forward. Good. And then back up. And how does that feel?
It feels okay. It feels a bit unstable, but okay.
Good. So what we're doing here is we're getting Darren to wrestle with the sensation of instability. And that, by doing that, you want to repeat that again for me, please, Darren. We're starting to stimulate these areas to contract and to work. We're building a better mind-body connection. We're also developing hypertrophy, so strength and improvements in muscle size and integrity around the structures which are going to be helping him. But as well as this, because Darren's knee is pushing forward over his toes, he'll be getting a good amount of movement through the ankle to help to work the enthesis. and the calf muscles themselves. And overall, Darren can use this exercise to not just reduce his pain, but also to improve his capacity. So this is something that we're going to be moving on to. We've got another couple of movements, and then we'll see how Darren gets on over the coming weeks.